So first off, why don't you introduce yourself? Just because I know who you are, but
Yeah.
um, we want to know who you are, what you do, and how'd you find us?
Okay. My name is David Yarmish. I'm EMS coordinator at Metro Health in Cleveland. I'm a paramedic by trade and do public safety for a living. I heard of you guys through um, an event at a local church, and it was a mental health conference, and I was there supporting some friends, and um, I saw the booth and met your folks, and I had one or two friends who actually came here before, and so you guys got my information, and I walked away and went about my life. And as life was happening, I started getting a couple texts from you guys saying, "Hey, reminder, we're here." And I was starting to feel a little bit of overwhelming anxiety, if you will, and more, some of that panic resurfacing. So the timing is perfect.
Yeah,
So I responded and reached out and said, "Yeah, I think after looking at all the testimonials online, which some people may be doing here now, um, and I said, yeah, now is time. This is perfect."
so tell me a little bit more though about your symptoms prior to any treatment that we did here. Tell me a little bit more about what you're experiencing with your how your anxiety presented.
Yeah, so my symptoms have been going on for about 23 years, actually. Um, they come and go. It's not like I suffer from depression per se, and I have highs and lows of like a bipolar, but mine is more of a panic in origin, where it can come out of nowhere. There could be certain triggers like large crowds, church, even one-on-one conversation. Sometimes it just comes out of nowhere. It's very, very weird.
Yeah,
It's a challenge not being in control of that. So I've had to learn how to kind of cope with that over the last 23 years. It's a feeling of dizziness, and like the room starts to almost like spin and morph, and your hearing becomes off, if you will. It can be kind of scary, I guess, but I've had to live with it again for 23
sure.
years, and I felt, I've studied all the literature, and felt it was time to kind of take the next step, take control of my health.
Absolutely. And so you're about 5, 6 months out from our NSR procedure,
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct. Yeah.
And about a month or maybe 5 weeks out from ketamine treatment.
Yes.
Tell me first, so with your NSR, what was your experience there? Kind of how did it help you specifically, with your symptoms, and what did it not help with?
Yeah, the NSR I was really looking forward to. Again, I studied the literature, I watched the videos, I studied the procedures, I did the homework on it like most people do nowadays. So I was
Yeah.
kind of familiar with what to expect. And I was actually really excited about that. So I know it's comparable to, folks would understand, like drinking from a fire hose, where it's just kind of like that sympathetic nervous system is just constantly on and in overdrive.
Yes.
Probably have, sweaty hands and feel more anxious than most people, just again, chronically onto my environment, my surroundings.
Yeah.
Um, and so I thought, going into this is like, okay, I can't wait to see what this feels like. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I want this shut off like
Yeah.
right now, and let's just see what it does for me. And so, yeah, the procedure, you guys were fantastic. Everything is first class here. You guys came in, you explained everything. Um, and the feeling was, it's almost like during it, as it was like kind of like a shutting off and blocking that sympathetic. It was like I felt like it was like a real like lub dub, like a bloop, bloop, and it was not overly dramatic, but it was like, okay, something subtly different. And then the next day we got the other side done, and it was subtle, but it was there. I could tell, like, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
This is different, and this is good. And now I have to realize, when the gates open up and the sympathetic nervous system is back and working, how am I going to handle the new flood of those things
Yeah.
coming by?
Stressors. Yeah, for sure.
And that, in other words, it's not like just one quick trick and things are over. Like you've explained to me, is Now there's going to be some work required of you on how you handle situations, and you have to work through things, and it's just going to be different, but different in a good way.
Different way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that helped a lot and still helps, but there was
Hmm.
something that we wanted to build on. And so that's why we had talked about ketamine and
Yeah,
doing ketamine.
right.
So tell me, um, maybe contrast, how did the ketamine help, or what ways did it help additionally, or perhaps the NSR did not help?
So it was about 5 weeks post NSR treatment, and I was feeling pretty good. And I was learning how to handle maybe waves of anxiety or panic, if you will. Um, and something told me I'm missing something. It was very clear to me in my brain that things were very good. We were on the right path, but something felt that needed to be added or adjusted. And I was familiar with the ketamine treatment. We studied the literature. Again, I'm familiar with all of it and its use. And I thought, I, I've got nothing to lose here. I'm already halfway in. My body's saying and brain is saying, this is great, but you're not all the way where you should be. And that's when we started consulting again and talking with you, and felt like, yes, this can be a good pathway for you. And then you said recommended 6 treatments, and I thought, well, let's start with one, like most people. and and after the first one, I was scheduling the next one before I
Yeah.
walked out of there because
So wait, let me pause you there. So tell me about that first one, because I know that was really impactful for you. Like that,
oh yeah, yeah,
that was definitely a game
right.
changer. Also,
It was,
I'd love
yeah.
to hear that again.
Yeah, so being familiar as a dissociative hypnotic or dissociative kind of medication and what to expect, but I've never taken it before. I thought I knew what to expect. And once it started to take effect and I was going through the treatment, within 5-10 minutes or so, it's really difficult to explain, but if you could just imagine your brain and your body kind of separating, and you have like these blocks, and you can kind of move things around and attempt to repair in not a controlled fashion, like you want to allow the experience to occur. But I went into it with a very positive attitude, a faith-based attitude. And I felt, I saw deceased sister and mom and grandmother, and God and Jesus for me was incredible to actually have that visual and know that things are peaceful. um, was really powerful for me. I was imagining, um, basically my brain being rinsed with water,
Mhm.
and I kept that for the subsequent 5 treatments. And I felt like that was a way of saying, let's open up the lid and just take, like you take a shower handle, just a soft, gentle rinse, like running water. And I would just imagine it rinsing away some of the bad pathways. And now we have clean, fresh water. We're going to rinse that away. And now we have clean, fresh pathways
Yeah,
for the
strengthening those healthy
neuroplasticity to
pathways.
rebuild. So that's kind of the mindset I left the first one with, and went into the next 5
Yeah.
with that same mindset.
And so after now you've had the 6 treatments, it's been about a month, like we said. Um, what are you feeling? What's your overall experience? And good and bad. What's your takeaway from that?
Um, I knew right away after the first treatment there had to be more. So you were right. There's no doubt. And as we went 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, each one, um, I felt significant benefit as I was leaving here and for the days to follow. I have noticed a decrease in the amount of anxiety episodes, if you will, or panic episodes. I have a pretty well balanced life of mind, body, and spirit. I try to eat well, and exercise, and meditate, and do a hot yoga or sit in sauna 7 days, and massage therapy. I do. I try to balance all those things, but all those things doesn't stop the overwhelming, intermittent, on occasional anxiety to overcome me.
Yeah.
But I have noticed after the 6 treatments, it is less. Um, and I now have the tools of water rinsing my brain, the tools of I am fine, I am safe, I am rewired. I can now respond to these situations and not realize that I am in fear. And I don't need to be in fear because I'm very safe.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for me to feel anxious or nervous or to allow panic to overcome me because, again, I am safe and I am healthy. I tell myself that. I imagine my brain being rinsed with clean water, and I move on from that. And that's how I've dealt
Yeah.
with it.
And we talk about all the time, you and I have talked about a number of times how that lack of feeling safe is a real barrier to progress. And and that
Yeah.
that's not something that you can necessarily control, right? It's out of your control. It's how your nervous system has adapted to prior traumas, and giving you back that control is really the critical step we talk about. um, Last thing, David, and thank you very much for doing this. um, for other folks out there that are feeling that lack of safety, that are struggling with their trauma, first responders and others, what would you say to them? Just maybe if they're thinking about this or looking into other innovative treatments that they hadn't really heard of before, might not be something that they're used to or comfortable with. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a godsend. It's given me a new approach to life every single day. I'm able to handle and do things that I was not maybe as equipped to handle before. This was a really really important step for me. As a former public safety guy and inner city medic and stuff, and those in public safety, police, fire, EMS, military, I think we don't realize it. It cannot just be one specific event. It could be your personal life combined with the things we're not supposed to see. And it's as this cup and bucket starts to fill up, we don't even realize it. It doesn't have to be one specific event. It could just be us just doing our jobs and just going through life. And eventually, you know what? We're going to go ahead and sprain and strain some body part, and sometime the brain needs attention too. And I think after 37 years, it's you know it's nice to put this on the forefront of my um, therapy, if you will. So I would let other people know that this is an um, amazing thing to do. It's different. It clearly works, and I think a lot of people would seek and find tremendous benefit from going through not just NSR, but explore the ketamine as well, because those two working together have helped me tremendously.
That's awesome, David. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.